your network is secure, your hub is plugged in, and your digital infrastructure is rock solid. But right now, your smart home is basically a blank canvas. It's time for the fun part. In this video, we are diving deep into the Home Assistant ecosystem to actually make your home work for you. I'm going to show you how to bridge your favorite hardware using integrations, add entirely new software capabilities using apps, and walk you step by step through installing the Home Assistant Community Store, which gives you the master key to thousands of custom tools. If you're new to the series, it is designed to take you from a home automation beginner to a smart home architect. In the previous video, we covered several steps you can take to secure your network and smart home environment, which you can find in the playlist below. First, let's take a look at a pain point for a lot of people who are just getting started with Home Assistant. Integrations versus apps. Integrations are the translators. They are the bridges that allow Home Assistant to talk to your hardware, such as Philips Hue bulbs, your Z-Wave switches, your 3D printer, or even your robot lawnmower. Integrations allow Home Assistant to connect to other devices and services for control and typically brings those devices into Home Assistant. Integrations in Home Assistant can be found under Settings, Devices and Services, and the new page that opens will be the Integrations page. Here you'll see any newly discovered integrations that Home Assistant found devices for on your network. This allows for pretty easy installation of most device types. You just click on Add and walk through the rest of the onboarding process, which is specific for each integration. If one pops up you don't want to use, you can simply click on Ignore. This will hide it from the Discovered section. And if you ever want to see what discovered integrations you ignored, you can click on the Overflow menu, which is the upside down triangle towards the top on the right hand side, and click on Show Ignore Integrations. If you want to add an integration that wasn't discovered, you can click on the blue Add Integration button on the bottom right hand side of the screen. Search for and select your integration, and then walk through the onboarding process. Once an integration has been added, the hardware and/or data are represented in Home Assistant as devices and entities. As you can see on my Home Assistant, I have several different integrations added, and each integration shows how many devices, services, or entities are added from each integration. You'll also notice a few different icons under some of them. The gray globe, which was changed from the blue cloud icon in 2026, means that the integration relies on the internet to work. So if your internet goes down, the integration will stop working until the internet is back up. If you don't see the gray globe icon under an integration, that means it runs locally on your network. The yellow box means that the integration is not one that is built into Home Assistant, and is instead a custom integration. These can be manually installed, but oftentimes are installed via HACS, which we will be going over shortly. The red box is similar to the yellow one, in that it is a custom integration, but the red color means that it replaces a component that is built into Home Assistant. And if you have an integration that's not working, you'll see a red exclamation mark with the words, "Failed setup, will retry." Integrations are usually the first thing people set up when getting started with Home Assistant. I'd love to know what was the very first piece of hardware you integrated into Home Assistant. For me, it was Z-Wave smart switches and contact sensors. Apps, which used to be called add-ons up until 2026, are specialized applications that provide additional functionality in Home Assistant. These are separate software packages that run alongside Home Assistant on your hub. This includes things like the MQTT broker, ESPHome, or a Duck DNS updating service. Apps add entirely new functions to your smart home that didn't exist before. Take note that apps are only available if you use the Home Assistant operating system installation method. If you installed Home Assistant using any other method, then you cannot use apps. Instead, you'll have to run the software a different way, typically via a Docker container, but that is outside the scope of this video. Currently installed apps in Home Assistant can be found by clicking on Settings and then Apps. Here you'll see any apps currently installed, and if you have a bunch, you can search at the top. Clicking on one will show you the state of the app, along with provide you additional information about the app, as well as provide configuration options and settings. In the top right-hand corner, you'll either see a green play button, which means it's enabled, or a red circle crossed out, which means it's disabled. For most apps, I recommend having Auto Update off. This allows for you to have control over when the app actually gets updated. If the app running is important to you, then you'll probably want to have Start on Boot and Watchdog enabled. Start on Boot does exactly what its name implies, and Watchdog will automatically restart the app when it crashes. To install a new app, click on the blue Install App button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Here you will see a list of all the apps you're able to install, which will most likely be just the ones that are part of Home Assistant. If you want to install an app that's not packaged within Home Assistant, you'll need to add the repository for it. To do that, click on the three-dot menu at the top right-hand side of the screen and select Repositories. On the page that opens, enter in the GitHub URL and click on Add. This will then add the repository to the list which you can then install from. To actually install an app, click on the one you want to install from the App Store, and then click on the blue Install button. Once installed, you can click on the Configuration tab to make any changes you need before going back to the Info tab to start the app. Again, if you need the app to always be running, I recommend having Start on Boot and Watchdog enabled. If you ever want to uninstall an app, you'll do that from this page as well, by clicking on Uninstall from the Info tab. If you don't plan on using an app again, or want to start fresh, you should click on the Also Remove App Data option before clicking on Uninstall on the new pop-up window. One built-in Home Assistant app you'll want to install is the File Editor app. While there are other options out there, this included one is a great starting point for learning how to navigate the file system for Home Assistant and managing its files. Now that we've explored official apps and integrations, it's time to expand the power of Home Assistant by installing the Home Assistant Community Store, or HACS for short. HACS allows for you to install community-created tools, advanced themes, and integrations created by developers all over the world. Do keep in mind that because the things you install from HACS are community-made, they don't necessarily go through the same rigorous testing as the official integrations. If your Home Assistant starts acting weird or slow after an update, HACS is usually the first place you should look to see if a custom card or integration is broken or causing some issues. The installation steps we're going to cover are for if you're running Home Assistant OS or Home Assistant Supervised. If you don't know what that means or running Home Assistant Green, then you are most likely running Home Assistant Operating System. If you're using Docker or some other virtualization platform, there's a pretty decent chance you aren't running Home Assistant Operating System, and some of these steps will not apply to you. To get started, you'll first need a GitHub account if you don't already have one. This is used for HACS to pull everything via GitHub for installation of the different apps, integrations, and everything else you might want to install. Make sure to save your username and password as well, as we will need it later on. Once you have a GitHub account created, navigate back to Home Assistant, and then go to Apps, which can be found under Settings. From here, click on Install App. On the new page that opens, click on the three-dot menu on the top right-hand side of the screen and click on Repositories. At the bottom of the new pop-up window, add in the HACS repository URL in the box, which is https://github.com/hacs/addons. I'll also have it in the description below so you can easily copy and paste it if needed. Once all set, click on Add. After a few moments, it should show up in the list and you can close the pop-up window. Next, find the Get HACS app and click on it. On the new page that opens, click on the blue Install button, which will then pull down the Get HACS app from GitHub and install it on your Home Assistant. This can take a few minutes depending on your internet connection. Once it's installed, click on Start. You can leave Start on Boot and Auto Update disabled. Next, click on the Log tab at the top of the screen. Here you will see the installation process run, and we'll need to wait until it says Installation Complete. We'll need to now reboot Home Assistant. Keep in mind that rebooting Home Assistant will cause any automations you have set up to not run during this time. And you won't be able to control any devices from any mobile devices or voice assistants through your Home Assistant until it fully reboots. To start a reboot, click on Settings, and then click on the three-dot menu on the top right-hand side of the screen. On the drop-down, click on Restart Home Assistant. Click on Restart Home Assistant on the pop-up window. You'll get one final confirmation, and you'll need to click on Restart to start the process, which can take several minutes depending on your setup. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen a dark gray bar saying Connection Lost. If you leave things alone and don't navigate away from the page, you'll actually be able to see when Home Assistant comes back online. While we wait for the reboot to finish, on a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous do you get when you see that Connection Lost bar? 1 being I've got backups for days, and this is no big deal, and 10 being I'm terrified I just broke my whole house. I know my heart usually flutters a little still, even when I know I caused the reboot. Once Home Assistant is done restarting, navigate to the Integrations page by clicking on Settings and then Devices and Services. Next, click on the Add Integration button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, and then search for HACS on the window that opens up. As can be seen, the HACS integration uses the internet to function and is a custom integration. Click on the HACS integration to continue. You'll then be presented with multiple checkboxes you'll need to read and click. They are basically reminding you that this is community software and could technically break things. So as always, use some level of caution and make sure you maintain good backups. Once all the boxes are checked and you're comfortable, click on Submit. You should then get a pop-up window with the URL and code. Copy the code and then click on the URL. This will redirect you to GitHub, where if you aren't already logged in, you should be prompted to select your account and continue, or you'll have to log in first. On the next page, you'll need to enter in the code we copied from Home Assistant and then click on Continue. This authorizes your Home Assistant to access GitHub with your GitHub account. If you have a GitHub account for other purposes, I do recommend having a different GitHub account just for Home Assistant. You'll then be prompted to verify that you authorize HACS to access your GitHub account, which you'll need to do by clicking on the Authorize HACS button. After you get the confirmation page that everything is connected, you can go back to Home Assistant, where it should now show that a few devices were created. You can leave these alone or change them before clicking on Finish. You should now see HACS on the side panel. If the icon is missing, just refresh your web page. If you don't see it at all, click on your user profile picture on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, and then click on Edit next to Change the Order and Hide Items from the sidebar under User Preferences. You'll then want to make sure the eye next to HACS isn't grayed out with a line through it, and you can rearrange the order of things here as well. Make sure to click on Save when all finished. A quick tech tip. Now that we have HACS installed, you can uninstall the Get HACS app that we installed earlier, as its only job was to allow for HACS to be installed. If you ever need it again, you can always reinstall it. Let's now open up the Home Assistant Community Store by clicking on it on the sidebar. On the page that opens, you'll see two main sections, one called Downloaded and one called New. Downloaded is going to have anything you installed via HACS. The stars field lets you know how many people favorited the project on GitHub, while the activity field lets you know the last time it was updated. At the top is a search bar where you can search for things that are part of the HACS catalog. For example, if you want to add the custom integration for Orbit Beehive devices, you can search for Orbit to find it. Clicking on it will bring you to the description page for the integration, which actually pulls information from GitHub. To install something from HACS, you can click on the download button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. You'll receive a pop-up letting you know the latest version is being installed, and also giving you an option to pick a different version if you want. Clicking on Download will continue the process of downloading and loading the integration into Home Assistant. For integrations added this way, along with a few other things, you'll actually need to restart Home Assistant before being able to use it. You'll know because you'll have a notification alert next to Settings, which if you click on will bring you to the message indicating a restart is required. For templates, themes, and dashboards, you will most likely have to refresh your browser before they will be visible. After the restart though, you're able to use the integration just like any other integration built into Home Assistant. Just like everything else, you can add custom repositories for HACS to utilize for managing elements. To add a repository, click on the three-dot menu in the top right-hand side of the screen from the HACS page. On the drop-down, click on Custom Repositories. On the window that opens, enter the repository URL and set the element type. Once all set, click on Add. Once added, you'll be able to search for and install the element through HACS just like any other prepackaged options. Two elements I recommend checking out from HACS are Mushroom and Bubble Card. Both are dashboard elements that allow for you to build out some really nice looking dashboards. Now that you've unlocked HACS, as well as custom integrations and apps, you have the power to do almost anything with Home Assistant. But with great power comes the ability to completely break your configuration. In the next video, we'll be going over a few different options you have on how to make sure you always have a backup copy of your Home Assistant so you can easily restore all your work in the event of things not going fully to plan. If you want to follow along with this series, make sure to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications so you don't miss the next video. Until then, thank you for watching, and as always, happy automating.